When General Motors announced in June 2017 that they'd found a new distributor for Opel, there was a huge sigh of relief because there is such a strong affiliation for the Opel brand in South Africa. This week on Insight, I'm chatting to Brian Hunter, who is in charge of the new Opel distributor. Brian, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Lindsay, for having me.
Big job ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, but very excited about it. As we know, Opel's been around in South Africa for 80 years. Certainly had its highs and the lows, but we remember back to those good old Stanek Group N and Superboss and GSI days, and pretty sure that with the new product that's coming, that we're going to create excitement with the Opel brand, and look forward to offering those new products to the South African consumers.
Okay, so take us back to that announcement was made, and we were told that it was the Williams Hunt Group that is taking over the Opel brand in South Africa. Now, for those not familiar with Williams Hunt, which would be few and far between because that also has been around for years, who is Williams Hunt?
Well, Williams Hunt is the dealer network. It's made up of some 14 dealerships around the country and owned by Unitrans Automotive. And at that June announcement, we associated the Opel distributor with Williams Hunt. On reflection, however, we think we may have created some confusion in the marketplace. So we've separated the Opel distributor from the dealer network side of the Unitrans business, and there's more of a direct connection between the Opel distributor and Unitrans. There's going to be 35 Opel dealers around the country, strategically placed in the major market areas, as well as out in what we in South Africa like to call the Platteland, to support those customers that are en route to the major centers, but also to support the customers out in those rural areas. The good news is that of the 35 Opel dealers, 30 are also co-branded with Isuzu. And whilst we're talking about the Opel brand, there's still a fondness within the team towards the Isuzu brand, and we see a real good spirit of cooperation between the two brands. They're not competitors, and we think they can live together as they have done within the dealer environment over the last 80 years.
And of course with Chevrolet as well, which you conspicuously left out, but assuming those dealerships will also be supporting current Chevrolet owners?
Absolutely. So what we've done is that with the 35 Opel dealers, they too will be looking after the Chevrolet after-sales support. Because the Chevrolet car park, however, is much bigger than the Opel car park, we felt that we needed a more expansive after-sales network. So we've appointed 30 Isuzu dealers to look after the Chevrolet car park as well. So in essence, there are 35 dealers looking after the Opel customer, and there are in fact 65 dealers looking after the Chevrolet customer. Much broader footprint, and clearly with the half-ton portfolio, much more diverse in terms of geographic spread of customers.
Okay. Now, also in terms of Chevrolet, how long will they be providing that support?
There'll be plenty of Chevrolet parts around. We have a philosophy that says we service a 10-year park. Okay. And certainly that would be our intention, not only on the Opel side, which will be a growing car park, but as the Chevrolet car park becomes smaller and smaller, those parts will certainly be available for the customers.
Okay. All right, so let's get on to Opel.
Fantastic.
It's so wonderful to have it settled here in the country, and we're driving the brand new Crossland X, which is a show of commitment. Obviously, we're here, and this is a brand new product for you. This sits just under Mocha.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about the car.
Okay. Well, look, we're very proud of the Crossland X. It's the second member of the X family, and there'll be a third member coming a little later on in 2019. But with regards to the second member, the Crossland X, what it does is it's Opel's first official crossover vehicle that we offer in the South African market. It takes the best of the MPV and the best of the SUV, and it gives the customer roominess plus a stylish SUV look. And more importantly, I think what's really great about the Crossland X is the ride height, and we've hooked it up with a nice powertrain, a 1.2 turbo powertrain.
Okay, quite interesting what you've brought in here. There's 4 models only in this in the Crossland X. In terms of your role with Opel in Germany, what sort of impact will you guys have on decision making there in terms of what product comes to South Africa, what models, what derivatives, what spec? Because obviously with a distributor, usually they have quite a big impact, but not being sort of associated, you maybe don't have as much say?
No, well, that's a great question, and in fact, it's probably best answered by the favorite Opel Germany expression that they often communicate to us to say, "Hey guys, it's your gig." So at the end of the day, we are in control, and the German guys have recognized that they're in Europe. There's a bunch of South Africans that probably know the market a little better than they do. So I won't say to you there's not some active discussion to reach a best spec level for the South African consumer, but largely it's influenced by the distributor. And we're very excited about that actually, so that we can bring a local influence to the model lineup and the spec that we put in the car.
Okay. Now, in terms of your experience, you're now heading this up as distributor. You've mentioned that you come from a sales background, so a big challenge for you personally.
Yeah, very much so. Spent the last 10 years in the sales arena, and in both vehicles and on the parts side. But happy to say that having been with the company so long, I was lucky enough to spend a stint back in the early 90s as the Opel strategy manager, and I've already mentioned those Group N days and the Super Boss days, and we had a role to play in that, and I had a role to play in that, and those were the years when Monza 160 GSI was car of the year, followed by the very next year the Cadet 140, and a couple of years later by the Astra 160 IS, culminating now in the 2017 Astra car of the year. So I think very much a sales background, but happy to say that I've got the marketing pedigree to be able to add some value to the brand in South Africa.
With the lull and the announcement of General Motors leaving, and then that doubt that was, what's going to happen to Opel, the announcement then and the changeover period that's happened now, you have to claw back a little bit of sales on the Opel and a little bit of confidence.
Absolutely. There's no doubt. We'd be the first to admit that, Opel being associated with General Motors and the General Motors exit, that there has been a wavering of customer confidence. But I think some of the investments we're making in the new product launches, starting today with you, Lindsay, in the Crossland X, and more importantly, what customers will start to see within our dealers. Very proud of our Williams Hunt Fourways dealership, that has just dawned the new Opel corporate identity. So investments been made by dealers all over the country, in Durban, in Cape Town, in Polokwane, in Bloemfontein, in Port Elizabeth. So we're both the distributor and the dealers making an investment, and I think through that investment, customers are going to start to gain the confidence. But there's nothing more confident than launching new products into the marketplace, and we plan to launch a lot of new products over the next 24 months into the South African market.
Sales is where it's at.
Sure,
so in terms of, just give us an idea of the sales level of Opel before GM pulled out, and what the expectation is from Unitrons and overseas Opel.
No problem. And clearly, obviously, with new product portfolio comes some demand for added volume, and it is a business decision at the end of the day. But we were doing, before the GM exit, about 350 Opels per month. That's reduced down to 250 as a result of some of the lack of customer confidence and unclear on what's happening with the Opel brand. Our plan is for 2018 to do 500 units a month, so about 6,000 units. We think with the product portfolio, we stand a real good chance of doing it. We've got a great product lineup, ranging all the way from Adam to Corsa, to Astra, to Crossland, to Mokka, to, dare I say it, a new product coming in the first half of 2018. And who knows what might happen in the second half of 2018. And in 2019, 2 or 3 more new products. So certainly those new product activities are going to support our volume aspirations. But, we're a disruptive brand. We're not going to be forced into making targets just for the sake of making targets. We're really going to focus on quality customer service and make sure the customers are excited about their new Opels as we are.
What do you drive?
I've got a Mokka. I've got one of the more popular Mokkas, and dare I say it's the Mokka 1.4 Turbo Cosmo Auto, and fantastic. I'm an SUV guy, so that sort of does it for my image. And interesting thing about that car line, that model, our number 1 selling Mokka is our most expensive Mokka, and very proud of that, because I think that really does say something about how the brand is strengthening in the South African marketplace.
We're nearly out of time. Just in closing, what is in your opinion, in terms of the PSA Peugeot cooperation, the next great product to come out of Opel that is a co-development?
Well, without giving away too many secrets, I mean, one of our products, the Corsa's been around for a while.
So that is a co-development?
Yes, certainly.
Complete?
Yeah, the new Corsa will be a co-development, and who knows, late 19, we might be quite surprised at what's happened through that co-development. Great looking product.
Yeah.
Certainly the current Corsa, fantastic vehicle. Still got a lot of work to do for us over the next 18 months, but the next co-development likely to be the Corsa in 2019 sometime.
Well, I think very, very exciting times for Opel ahead, and exciting times for consumers to continue to have the Opel brand as a choice here.
Yeah, we hope so. We think with an expansive product range, a recommitment to the customer service that we think the customers deserve, and a combination of that product and customer services, I guess what customers are really looking for. So to all the Opel customers out there, or the non-Opel customers, pop down to your nearest Opel dealer, because you'll find a product that'll suit your needs.
We're going to charge you for that one.
No problem at all. No problem at all.
And Hunter, thank you for joining us on Inside.
Lindsay, thank you very much for having me.